Hi everyone, welcome back to the Integrity Botanicals YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a very exciting review and it is none other than the RMS Uncover Up Cream Foundation. I know that you all somehow, some way, whether it's my what's new video, checking the website, or just, you know, seeing social media go crazy for it. I know you guys have heard about it. I've been testing it for the last couple of weeks and I'm so excited to finally share my review with you. Now, spoiler alert, I think it's fantastic. I'm gonna get into the details of how. I'm of course going to show you how I like to apply this product on the skin, show it on my bare skin versus one side with coverage so you could see the difference, and I'm just really going to dive in there. So let's start with packaging like we typically do. So this is a cream foundation, so it's packaged a little bit differently than a liquid foundation or something like that. Of course, it's in this beautiful glass jar, very traditional RMS packaging, white top, shade name, everything like that's going to be on the bottom. When you open it up, you're going to see this white little plastic bit you can remove, and then it is this thick, like I could turn it upside down and nothing's going to come out texture. So because of this, it does come with a little metal spatula. Now, I mentioned this in my upcoming demo as well. I wish that this was magnetized to the top, or I wish it had a little area where this could kind of click in so you don't lose it, because this is going to be a little bit trickier to keep track of. However, I love that it is a metal applicator because that means that it won't hold bacteria, anything like that. And I also love that it's just a little bit more sustainable, nice quality. So you would just take a little spatula, scoop some out, and then go from there. So these type of products, you know, they're not always my favorite for traveling, this type of foundation. However, this foundation is so good, I would figure something out. I will tape it to the top, what have you. So this foundation is 1 ounce or 30 milliliters, very standard across the board foundation amount, and it will run $52. So it's a little bit up there, but right there in the ballpark as far as more natural foundations are concerned. And this is formulated with their coconut oil as well. I will say, as someone who my skin's a little bit sensitive to coconut oil, it's nothing crazy. I can't like not use it or something like that. I just need to use it a little bit more sparingly. I found with continued use of this product, I'm not getting the usual texture that I get. So just putting that out there, I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's the combination worth of products, things like that. But I'm really enjoying using it, and it's not making my skin act up in any way, especially because my issue with my skin is texture. Now, coverage on this. The coverage is beautiful. I would say it's a good solid medium. You can build it up for a more full coverage, and it does have a gorgeous natural glow. Now, when I say glow, is it shiny? Is it dewy? Is it just beaming light off my face? It's not. You can see I have not set my cheeks today. I did go in with cream products, so if you find it's a little more shiny than something you would traditionally like, do keep that in mind. I have the Gressa Lumiere on my cheek, powder bronzer, cream and powders layer on this beautifully. Wear time. This is a foundation that definitely needs to be set, and it needs to be set because it's a little bit thicker in consistency, especially once you first apply it. So if you have more oily skin, highly, highly, highly recommend the RMS tinted powders. They also have a translucent one as well, if that's more of interest to you. It's very, very, it almost seems like there's dimethicone in it. Of course there is not, because it's a natural product, but it's this very silicone-y texture, which is great for reducing shine, as well as just making everything that you put on top of it glide across the skin. So that's a really great one. Of course, it pairs beautifully with their Uncover Up concealer. That's a concealer that I like. It's not my everyday go-to. I like a little bit more full coverage, but if that's your favorite, this is like, the foundation is that, but like kicked up a notch, so you can put it everywhere, and it is significantly less shiny than that as well, and a much thicker texture if you're looking to compare it to that. They do, of course, recommend to pair with their Skin to Skin foundation brush. That looks a little something like this. This is $38. You can see it's relatively small. which I like for getting in little places like around the nose or like in my hairline or bringing it down the jaw, but it is a little bit more time consuming. You, however, can definitely build up the coverage with a brush. So if that's your preferred method, definitely recommend this because it's nice and dense. Of course, the coverage on it is great. My preferred method of application is going to be with the 100% pure latex-free sponge. I'm not going to talk too much about how I like to apply it because I have a whole portion dedicated to it, but just putting that out there as far as options are concerned. Not only that, I think that the wear time of this foundation is beautiful. I work in a really hot environment. I work in a restaurant, so I'm always like go, 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 and it's inside and outside, so we are like right on the beach, so it's incredibly, incredibly humid. I do find that this can break up in little areas, but all the usual suspects, you guys. Nothing weird, freaky. I don't find it's like melting off my face or like I have like skin exposed here and then it's just a bunch of foundation around and it looks like very makeup-y. This has such a natural look to the skin while perfecting everything, which is exactly what I look for in foundation. I don't like anything overly full, but I'm also not quite a tinted moisturizer girl. I like a little more coverage than that because I like to wear a lot of eyes and I like a lot of cheeks, and so I find a little bit more coverage pairs really nicely with that. But I think this is a great daytime or nighttime foundation. I do think for mature or dry skins, this is going to be like extra, extra amazing because it just doesn't cling to dry patches at all. It's beautiful. But if you have more oily skin and you like a very natural look to it, I think with the right powders, this would look amazing. So again, I'm not gonna talk too much about application. You have a whole dedicated portion I'm about to jump into, but before I do, I wanted to let you guys know that we do carry 12 shades and I wanted to run them through real quick for you. No exciting names. I will leave a little sort of shade guide for you down below. Of course, as always, you can pick up 3 free samples with any Integrity Botanicals purchase, and I suggest doing so to find your perfect shade. So we have the shade 000, we have the shade 00, we have the shade 11, we have the shade 11.5, we have the shade 22, the shade 22.5, the shade 33, 33.5, the shade 44, shade 55, shade 66, and shade 77. So that's just a quick run through. I will include a photo down below of swatches so it can help guide you as far as picking your best shade. But I am just going to jump right into the demo portion because I know you guys are probably dying to see how this looks on the skin, especially in comparison to my bare face. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so now the part that I know we are most excited to see. I'm going to demo the RMS Uncover Up cream foundation for you. And like I mentioned, they do recommend using the skin to skin foundation brush, which I will use on one side of my face, but my preferred way to apply foundation, not just this one, but all of them, is always with my 100% pure sponge. So I'm going to go in with one side. The sponge will always give a more natural effect, and the brush will allow you to build up the coverage, but it is a relatively small brush. It is a little bit more time consuming, but like I did say, it will allow for an increase in coverage for you. So I'm gonna do one side. I'm gonna do it my usual way. I'm going to do it with the sponge, and I'll show you bare skin versus that, and then I'll do the other side with the brush, show you the brush versus that, and then, you know, that's the look done. So, like I did already mention when I was kind of talking about the packaging, we do have the little metal applicator here. It comes sealed like this. I just got the full size of this product. I was using a really generous sample for a while, and that's why I'm just opening that up. So then you have your glass jar, very beautiful. This little plastic protector, and then I'm just going to go in there, and I'm gonna start with a small amount. The metal applicator I do think is a nice touch as long as you don't lose it. I wish the top was magnetic or had something where this can kind of click into place. That would be nice. But how I usually like to apply it, especially because I was using a sample, is I'll warm it up a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to apply this to the skin. By the way, I do already have on the Aster and Bay Avo Eye Serum, and I do have the Demamiel Autumn Face Oil. So yeah, I think that was actually the perfect amount of product. Just like that. Oh my God. I'm going to take a makeup wipe and remove half of this because I did just tell you guys I'm only going to do half. So going with the sponge, I'm going to stay at this distance just so you can kind of see the coverage and how I like to work it into the skin. So it's always a pressing and kind of dragging motion, especially because this has a little bit of a thicker texture. It doesn't appear that way on the skin at all. I actually love how it looks, but I do like that pulling motion just to help blend it further. So I'm just going to do that all over the skin. And then I always like to take my time because I like it to look as natural as possible, but of course I do like a good fuller coverage situation. Okay, we got nice and close. So this is the side that has no foundation, and this is the side that does. So you could see it perfectly evened out the skin. It's not completely blocky out all the imperfections. Mind you, I did not build up this product, but it's giving me an overall smoothness. And you know how it does claim to have more of a youthful, dewy finish? It does, but I find it's much more natural than I was initially expecting. It's not terribly glowy. It's just not very matte either. So you can sort of feel this on the skin. I think that's kind of what they mean. I would recommend setting this with powder all over if you have more oily skin, specifically the RMS powder. For me, I'm going to do concealer and then the 100% pure bamboo powder. I'm going to do that off camera. But before I do that, I'm going to show you this foundation applied with the brush. So I'm just going to take a tiny little bit more on the back of my hand here. Warm it up. Dot it on. And you can see I always like to build up the product, so that's what I would recommend doing, and this does have those capabilities. I just like it best how I've applied it here. So I'm going to go in with the Skin to Skin foundation brush, and again, it's going to be very similar. I'm going to kind of do some little buffing motions, but just kind of pull it across the skin. Okay, so zooming in once again, I want you to see the difference. I think even right here, you can see that we do have a little bit more coverage here than I do here. Not something that bothers me because the redness is covered, but this is more time consuming, especially because it's a smaller brush, but it will build up the coverage. But you do really need to take the time here on the cheek because you don't want it to sit too heavy on the skin, because since it already needs to be set, it does have that almost like transferable type of texture to it, being a thicker cream foundation. You want to make sure it doesn't sit too heavily in one area, so you do really need to take the time to buff, blend it down the neck, and of course make sure that you're not initially applying too much product. So this is the side with the brush, and this is the side with the sponge. But the consensus is no matter which way that you apply this product, it does look incredibly natural on the skin. It is incredibly easy to apply and will of course give you an overall evenness and just looks very pretty and natural on the skin, not overly glowy, not overly dewy. It's just a very skin-like finish. And I think setting products, concealers, all the additional products will allow you to take control more of how you want this foundation to look. For instance, if I wanted it to look dewier, I would go in with some creams. And if I wanted to look more matte, I'd go in with a more heavy-duty setting powder. I'd go in with a more matte concealer. I would go in with all powder products, etc. But I just wanted to quickly show you how this looks on my skin, how I like to apply it, and I'm just really happy with this foundation. I think it is fantastic. All right, you guys, that's it. I really hope that you enjoyed this review. I know it was a long time coming. I just wanted to give it a fair enough chance, and I think it has definitely passed the test. Definitely my current most reached for foundation, which I'm really, really excited about, and I think it's going to be beautiful for the upcoming fall and winter months just because of the more natural, more hydrating properties of the product. I think it's found such a beautiful balance between being all of those good, yummy, dewy, hydrating, all those key buzzwords for me, without looking overly greasy on the skin, holding up very well throughout a long work day, all of those type of tests that we need. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to shop this product, of course, I'm going to include it down below. I'll include every tool that I used as well. Highly recommend that sponge. I think it's great. Or the brush is also very beautiful for increasing the coverage level a little bit. I'm also going to include the powders, swatch photos, anything that I mentioned that I think will make you adore this foundation. It's a really, really exciting launch from RMS. I love all the new things that they're doing, and I'm excited for new products, of course. RMS is one of the best out there, and this foundation is no exception. So like I said, full swatch photos will be down below, 3 free samples with any Integrity Botanicals purchase, and that's all there is to it, people. I know foundation reviews can be a little bit tricky, so if you have any questions for me, make sure to leave me a comment down below and I will do my best to answer. Maybe I'll do a comparison video, this to the Kjaer Weis, because there are some definite differences in the foundation I've noticed while being equally beautiful. So that's it, you guys. Please make sure to keep up with all of our social media down below. Everything on my face will be down below as well. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel because I do upload here twice weekly. Big thumbs up, subscribe, you know the drill, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Thank you. Bye.